to my channel. Happy spooky month to you, everybody. It is October, it is spooky month. This isn't necessarily a Halloween themed video, but can we talk about something? Can we talk about this concept that I like to call the project graveyard? You know, that pile of stuff that you probably have somewhere in your drawers or your cupboards or whatever, wherever you keep your projects. You probably have one, especially if you are one of these funny people like me who are multi-crafters who have way too many hobbies and cannot stop picking new ones up. Calling you out, you have a project graveyard. I have a project graveyard, and that's what we're tackling today, because what's more spooky than a project graveyard? So I have picked out some projects that I want to finish, and it is a bunch of different crafts, and it ranges from projects that are over 12 years old to just a year or two, but UFOs that have been sitting around for a while. So I have picked out some paper piecing, I have picked out some knitting, I have picked out some doll and pony rehairing that we are going to do this time. So I am going to try and finish all of these things, which includes this project, which is my crochet blanket that has been in this bag for how many years now? So I am going to see if I can finish all of this in a week's worth of work days. So that is 5 times 8, which is 40 hours. So let's say 48, that's 2 entire days. So I will set a timer whenever I'm working, because I do not have the kind of life at the moment where I can sit down and work for 8 hours straight on my project. I am going to keep track of my time, and we'll see if I can actually finish all of my projects within these 48 hours. So I have picked out to work on, like I said, this crochet blanket, and we have in here, this is also a couple of years old now, it's my Vintergäck. I am finishing these. They are needing some embroidery on the second mitten. The next one, in terms of how old it is a paper piecing project. I have all of the other pieces cut out and like ready to be pieced together. I just need to actually piece them together. This is going to take way more than 48 hours. Who am I kidding? And these, my pumpkin spice latte mittens by Shaiyeh. They are very, very big, but they will fit David. And we have this poor pony whose hair fell out. So we are giving her some new hair, and a childhood toy of mine that also needs new hair. Well, she's almost all finished getting new hair. She's missing like one very big plug of hair, and I have hair for her as well. So we are going to finish that. We have one more project, and that, my friend, is the oldest one, of maybe 14 years old. It is this cross stitch of a cute little cat that actually kind of looks like Elsa. What it's missing is this little, literally like 3 centimeters of backstitch and a bunch of French knots. That's all it's missing. I never learned how to do French knots until like a couple of years ago, so I couldn't face finishing the backstitch or something, I guess, so I just never did. And I plan on doing that because A, it's very cute, B, why do we do this? So without further ado, let's clean this mess up and get cracking with some projects. I will set a timer for when I work on it and try and finish as much of this as possible within these 48 hours that I have allotted myself for this challenge. So you go and grab something to work on as well, and we will get into working on the projects. I will see you in the work area in a minute. Cheers. So, welcome to the work area. I am going to start working on Ariel because I just feel so bad for her. She's an original tropical Ariel from the 90s and she was probably my top favourite toy. And I think I still have all her accessories except a hair clip. She spent way too much time taking baths because what else would a mermaid do? And as a result, her original hair was one big frizzy mess. Now, I know my way around restoring nylon hair from frizzy to smooth, but it was beyond the point of saving. So one day, maybe 11 or 12 years ago, I took all that hair out and started rerouting her with new nylon hair, up until that one last plug. I have no idea why I left it at that. Maybe I felt intimidated by having to style the hair. Either way, we're sorting that out now, and with just about 10 minutes of work, she's all done being rerouted. Next up, let's work on the pony. This is Midnight Dream, a Generation 3 pony from 2006. Her unfortunate story is very different from Ariel's. This has always been one of my favourites in my collection. If you're new here, hi, I collect My Little Ponies and have a few hundred of them in the other room. I'll show you one day. But since she's one of my faves and because I got her as a collector, not as a child, I've been very careful with her. Unfortunately, something called dry rot can happen, no matter how careful you are. This is simply the plastic breaking down, and certain hair colours are more prone than others. When I unpacked her from the move we did in 2021, I wanted to smooth out the hair as it looked messy, and it all came straight out. Needless to say, I was devastated, but luckily I have an extensive stash of nylon hair for ponies and happen to own a partial skein of an exact match to her hair. This is where things went wrong for the first time in my challenge. My rerouting tool broke. I managed to dig out another one I had made at some point, but I quickly found out the needle I used for it pinched the hair and took half the plug out with it again. I had a couple moments of slight panic and frustration here, but my friend suggested trying a hand drill. And luckily, in our multi-crafter household, the Warhammer drawers contained such a drill and I had a new needle to spare. From there, we had smooth sailing. I just had to warm the plastic every now and then because this particular pony was rock hard and I wasn't about to break a third needle. I used some all-round glue to hold the hair in place, and just like that, and with a little trim and styling session, Midnight Dream is all done and ready to rejoin the herd. With all the re-hairing out of the way, let's get the cross-stitch project finished. I wanted to get the quick projects out of the way first, and with this needing just a bit of backstitch and some French knots, I picked this one as my next one. I will be honest and say I'm not 100% following the backstitch pattern for the flowers, because I can tell I didn't do that when I worked on this earlier either. But who's gonna know? How would they know? I mean, I guess I just told the entire internet, but whatever. it is time. Time to watch me struggle to get the hang of French knots again. Why are they so difficult? I did a bunch of trial ones at the bottom of the canvas because I don't want to mess up my precious kitty. But OMG, why is this such a struggle? I finally understood them, and this is where things go wrong again. Maybe I should look at the pattern to see if I'm working in the right colour, which of course I'm not, so I'm quickly fastening off the burgundy and all the other bits needing fastening off and changing tracks. I'm supposed to work in this sand colour and with 2 strands, which makes a whole lot more sense in how the knots will show up more. And oh my goodness, this project is how old? Okay, I guess that's a little bit more than 14 years. Yes, I got this when it was new. Oops. Anyway, let's make a million French knots and finish this before it turns 20 years old. Having just relearned French knots, I figured I would strike while the iron is hot and move on to the Vintergäck. Going through my stash, I have the same green and yellow I used originally, but I'm out of the white, so this off-white will have to do. I'm also adding in my unicorn aura yarn for a pop of colour I think these mittens desperately need. This is a pair of mittens I was overly excited to knit when they came out in I think 2020. I knit them up, I felted them, and I started the embroidery and just fell out of love with it. If I remember correctly, there was a Facebook group, Cow, for it that somehow killed my vibe, but I don't really remember. But they've been sitting in my whip pile since then and gnawing at the back of my mind, begging to please be finished. So let's finally just do it. I am again not working straight from the chart, but close enough. Finagling my hands around how to hold these to work on them properly hurt a lot, so I did some adjustments. More French knots everywhere. If I forget how to do them after this, I don't know what I'll do. It is another day, and I am dedicating as much of it as possible to my EPP project. This was supposed to become a project bag at some point, but I again lost steam close to finishing the first half of the quilt. I also had no system to how I pieced it together and just did one hexie at a time. This is also how I picked back up working on it, which quickly got old, and I honestly felt like, why did I choose to add this project to the video? As I'm editing, I'm realizing I could have edited all traces of it out of the video. It's my video after all, but I guess I'm a sucker for punishment, and so we're finishing this. I also figured out a better system for sewing it together pretty quickly, which very much helped my process. I finished the first half fairly quickly and went on to plan out the second half. This is probably the most fun part. I remember loving the basting too, because the hexes turn out so neat, but sorting out my chart is topping that. Super fun. Apparently, I didn't get footage of sewing up the second half. Boo! But it went a lot quicker than the first half. On to the bag making. I was unable to find my good zipper project bag pattern I made when I did my last quilted zipper bag, so I had to brain out a new one. Now for another fun part of paper piecing, getting the paper out of the quilt. It's so satisfying popping them out of there. I like using a really tiny crochet hook, and I get in there and just dig around a little and they come right out. This is useful if you use glue with your paper piecing, which I did for these. On to cutting out my pattern pieces. I am getting some stupid scraps from placing it here, I am aware, but we'll actually be using those scraps in the project, so it's all good. Here I ran into my third problem. I found batting in my stash and was very happy that I didn't have to go shopping, but I realised a bit late it wasn't fusible, so I had to spend some time basting it to the patchwork. It's not a big deal, and the basting stitches were a good guide for actually quilting later on, but still, that's time I could have used for other things. Time to sew, and problem number 4. I made probably the straightest, neatest, most even top stitch I'd ever done, but ran out of bottom thread halfway through, and me being impatient and a messy gremlin a lot of the time, had a double loaded bobbin, so the machine went on to sew with a second bobbin thread, only the tension was off and it was sticking out everywhere. So yeah, pick it out, remove the second thread from the bobbin, re-sew. I may be on a timer, but I don't want to half-ass this. that's a bag. At this point we are about 27 hours into the challenge with 2 things left to finish. For the next project, we have a small unboxing to begin with, and a very orange assistant to help unboxing. I ran out of the white yarn for this project, so I got on Ghana and ordered a skein of Rauma lammull for it. I was very sad and tired this day, so opening this parcel brightened things up for me because, look, they sent sweets. Any hoozles, let's get on with the mittens. I have half a mitten and 2 thumbs to knit, and I plan on doing that as quickly as I can. I put on an Animal Crossing 30-day challenge playlist and just went to town with knitting. I've been very into Animal Crossing again lately. I always want to redecorate for Halloween, but I never get around to it. Living vicariously through the AC channels, I guess. Let's weave in all the ends, and that's 1 pair of enormous mittens all done. I'll get them on a blocking mat before picking up my last project. The Nature's Walk blanket. This is a project I've been putting off finishing for so long, only because I've been needing to buy yarn, but also maybe a little bit because it felt daunting. It is a lot of crocheting after all. This is also the project featured in probably my most popular podcast episode. I don't always crochet, but when I do. Episode 36, I believe. Hi if you came here from that video. And I mean, that's true. I don't crochet super often, but when I do, I go on a complete crochet bender. It's so addicting and fun. And then I just lose the crochet bug and don't feel like it for a really long time. This blanket first started out as one of those I want to crochet moments, and I'm extra, so of course I didn't pick something reasonably sized, no. But again, a couple years later, let's finish this. Also, perks of crocheting a blanket border. You get to be under a blanket the entire time you're working on the blanket. How perfect is that? Chedward agrees, he's loving this project so much. This feels unreal. This is the last bit of the border. Honestly, this was so much fun to work on. If you also want to make a blanket, I can recommend checking this pattern out. I know it took me years to finish, but that's not because I got bored with it. My interest in crochet just waxes and wanes. Anyway, border done. There's a million threads to weave in. I will catch up with you again once I'm done. It is the next day and I'm sat on my computer chair at my computer desk, surrounded by everything I have completed during this challenge. The challenge came in at 37 hours and 11 minutes and that is pretty good, I would say. When I was around 10 hours, I was like, I've finished so much already. Maybe I gave myself way too much time. But turns out I did need those extra hours because crocheting takes a while and I had a lot of crochet to do. So yeah, but we made it. We finished everything. So a little recap of what we finished. Like I mentioned just 1 second ago, we finished the Nature's Walk blanket and I have quickly blocked it. It is super cute. I love it. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. So yeah, that is finished. We did the EPP bag. Finally, it is done. It is finished. I finished piecing together all of the paper pieces. I quilted it. I've made a functional bag out of it with a zipper that I had to go look for at the secondhand shops. We don't need to talk about the fact that the ink is visible for where I marked out my seam allowance, but it is a lined, functional, good. I said functional too many times, you're gonna think it's not now, but I promise it is. It is a good size, it has a D-ring for attaching whatever to. Yeah, I'm really pleased. Can't wait to start using it. Finished the pumpkin spice mittens. These are by Shaiyeh. Finished the Vintergäck. These are by my Gasa, I think. Pretty edible. We finished the 18-year-old cross-stitch project. I'm so happy that this is finally done. I need to find a frame for it. I want to frame it and hang it. I think we will go for one of those cutesy pastel 80s, like floral, cute, granny chic frames, I think. I don't know, I will have to thrift for it. So yeah, that is done and my pony's done. Let's take her out of her. I washed and styled her yesterday. Finally done. So there we go. that is her with her new and shiny hair. Just the light pink is the new hair, but oh, she's so pretty again. I'm so happy. This is actually one of my favourite Generation 3 ponies, so I'm really happy she's looking fabulous again and has her hair back. Oh, she's so pretty. I love her. There is one thing I didn't fully finish, but this is 10 minutes of work and I'll do it off camera. I didn't wash her hair yet. It just slipped my mind, but literally, like I said, 10 minutes and she's done. I need to wash her hair and then she's fully finished. So, okay, let's say 37 hours and 21 minutes and everything is done. I don't know, I feel like I forgot something or like we missed something, but I think that is all. And with that, I will say thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this challenge. If you have any other ideas for like crafting challenges I can do on this channel, then let me know down below in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you again in my next video and in my podcasts and stuff like that. So if you would like to keep up with what I post on this channel, please consider, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button down below, leave a little thumbs up on the video, ring the bell if you want to get notified when I upload, leave a comment, say something. What was your favourite project out of these? Do you have a whip pile like this that you need to get through? I hope I could give you some motivation. Let me know if you crafted along with this and what you have finished. And yeah, I will see you again very soon. Thank you all so much for being here. Love you all. Take care of yourselves and I will see you soon. Bye.